Hello, my name is Jones, and today we are going to talk about trade unions. A trade union is an organization, whether permanent or temporary, which either A. consists wholly or mainly of workers, and it is an organization whose principal purposes include the regulation of relations between workers and employees or employers association. Or a trade union can be looked at as an organization, whether permanent or temporary, which consists wholly or mainly of one constituent or affiliated organization which fulfill the conditions of the worker and the employer. A trade union can also be looked at as representatives of such constituent or affiliated organization in either case of an organization whose principal purpose include the regulation of relations between workers and employers or between workers and employers associations, or include the regulation of relations between its constituent or affiliated organization. In simple terms, a trade union is an association of workers formed to protect their interests in employment situation. Other writers have looked at trade union as an organization of workers formed to protect their rights and to enhance their welfare. Okay, so a trade union, in summary, is a voluntary organization of workers formed to promote and protect the interests of the workers by collective action. Hence, a trade union is not a body corporate, but nevertheless has been given some characteristic of legal personality so that it can make or enter into contracts, own property, though it must be vested in trustees, so that it can sue or be sued in its own name, and so that it can be subject to judgment, orders, or awards in proceeding brought against it. Okay, so we have looked at a trade union as an organization of workers formed to protect their rights and enhance their welfare. Now let's look at the functions of a trade union. The primary objective of a trade union is to protect and advance the interests of the workers who are its members. So the functions include: 1. To take all necessary steps to promote industrial peace and harmony. 2. To protect fair wages for workers. 3. To safeguard and improve the working condition. 4. To act as a communication channel between workers and management. 5. To provide educational, cultural, and recreation facilities. 6. To instill in members a sense of responsibility towards industry and community. 7. To cooperate and facilitate technological advancement by broadening the understanding of workers of its underlying issues. Then 7 is to offer responsive cooperation in improving the levels of production and productivity, discipline, and high standard of quality. So, in a nutshell, these are the primary functions of a trade union. Let us look at now, why do individuals join a trade union? Most individuals join a trade union to seek better wages, to seek better working conditions, and also to seek job security and improve welfare benefit. And of course, the last reason as to why people join a trade union is because of pressure from either present union members or friends. Now, let's look at the rights of an employee according to Section 5, Cap 269. Every employee, subject only to the Republican Constitution and this Act, shall have the following rights: A, the right to take part in the formation of a trade union. B, the right to be a member of a trade union of that employee's choice. The right, D, the right to obtain leave of absence from work in the exercise of the rights provided for in paragraph C, and the leave applied for shall not be unreasonably withheld by the employer. So the paragraph C here is according to the section 5 cap 269. Then E, the right not to be prevented, dismissed, penalized, victimized, or discriminated against, or deterred from exercising the right conferred on the employee under this same act. F, the right of an employee not to be a member of a trade union or be required to relinquish a membership. Then G, the right not to be dismissed, victimized, or prejudiced for exercising or for the anticipated exercise of any right recognized by this act or any other law relating to employment or for participating in any proceedings relating thereto. Then H, the right not to do work normally done by an employee who is lawfully on strike or who is locked out, unless such work constitutes an essential service, or if on request the employee voluntarily waives the right specified under this act. Okay, so now with these rights of an employee under section 5 cap 269 outlined, let's now look at the effect of union on management. Management's decisions and policies are subject to challenge and negotiation. Management powers are checked and may be used more cautiously when there is a union. Management may be required to give certain classified information about the company to the union officials so that they understand the operation, and also to help them know which privileges that they can try to ask for the welfare of the workers. Then decision making may become centralized so that a unified company and industrial relation policy can be formulated and practiced. Now let's look at the Trade Union Congress, section 28 of cap 269. The Zambia Congress of Trade Union formed and registered before the commencement of this act shall continue to exist as a body corporate and shall be deemed to be registered as a federation of trade union under this act. It is a voluntary association of trade union. It is a general council comprising elected members. It is a policy. Its policy is decided by its constituent union at the annual Congress. Let us now look at the function of Trade Union Congress. The functions include to agree and express a policy for the trade union movement, to promote registration so as to protect the benefits of its members, to be consulted by the government, to deal with later union disputes. Okay, so with that discussed, now let's look at the Employers Association, section 55 of cap 269. The Zambia Federation of Employers, formed and registered before the commencement of this act, is hereby continued as a body corporate and shall be deemed to be registered as a federation of employers organization under this act. By provision of section 36 of the act, employers within a certain industry can form an association. The function of an employers association will include provision of information for trade purposes and to negotiate on industry matters on behalf of the industry. Now let's look at the staff associations. Managements that do not deal with or encourage the existence of trade union for whatever reason opt for staff associations formation. However, this still presents management with a problem in that staff associations representatives acquire experience in negotiations, dispute resolution, that is at the first expense. So this actually represents an ideal training base for future trade union officers. The formation of staff associations itself draws attention for the need for collective staff representation, and in so doing may strengthen the demand for a bona fide trade union. When staff associations become effective, they begin to have a trade union. Let us now look at problems and limitations facing trade unions. So when you look, trade unions in Zambia today face a number of challenges, and it includes limited representation, multiplicity of union, politicization of union, a lack of integrity, and a hostile attitude of employers. So, on a limited representation, trade union today only encompass a small proportion of the total workforce in the country, particularly those in the formal sector. The informal sector is totally excluded, and this is where the bulk of the workforce is. Now, let's look at multiplicity of union. The number of union mushrooming is quite alarming, resulting in fragmentation as small-sized unions spring up, weakening the bargaining position of union as well as their financial and administrative position. Then politicization, putting politics or politicization of union. Some unions have become compromised and have become tools in the hands of politicians, as political parties and politicians in general seek to consolidate their support base. To this end, certain political parties have made serious attempts at owning their own trade union by corrupting weak union leaders. Then, talking about lack of integrity, the majority of workers now perceive labor or union leaders as lacking integrity and morality because of the high levels of politicization and corruption in the unions. Hence, existing and potential members of union are losing confidence in the operation and values of trade unions generally. Okay, so now talking about hostile attitudes of employees. Certain employers do not entertain the idea of establishing trade union in the workplace, or their workers being represented by a trade union of their choice. And this has led to intimidation and formation of weak associations within workplaces, which have not helped much in representing workers' interests. So we were looking at trade unions. We have defined a trade union as an association of workers formed to protect interests of employee. Okay, and we have looked at the functions of a trade union. We've looked at the primary objective of trade union or their functions. That is to secure fair wages for workers. Mostly, this is the one which is very pronounced, but trade union also provide educational, cultural, and recreational facilities. They can instill in members a sense of responsibility towards industry and community and do other things. Then some of the reasons, we have also looked at some of the reasons as to why people join a trade union. That is to seek better wages, seek better working condition, to seek job security, and other things. We have also looked at the rights of employee under Section 5 of Cap 269. And we have looked at different rights of an employee, the right to take part in formation of a trade union, the right to be dismissed, the right not to be dismissed, victimized, or prejudiced for exercising or for anticipated exercise of any right recognized by this act of law relating to employment or participating in any proceeding relating to anything that has to do with a trade union. Then effects of union on management. We have looked at it, say management decision and policies are subject to be challenged and negotiations can take place. Management powers are checked by unions and management may be required to give certain classified information in the welfare of running the institution or organization so that the trade unionists can know how much they can try to negotiate or bargain. And decision making may become centralized so that a unified company and industrial relation policy can be formulated and practiced. So those are some of the effects of union on management. Then we have also talked about Trade Union Congress under Section 28 of Cap 269, and we have talked about its functions. We have also talked about Employers Association, okay, under Section 55, Cap 269. So we have talked about Staff Association, and then lastly, we looked at the problems and limitations that trade unions are facing. So thank you and keep studying.